Thought I was in surgery. Well, apparently due to Schmovid, no. Half the nurses and doctors are sick, so that's been delayed for now. The other sad news I have is that they're out of Dr. Pepper locally again. I don't know if there's a avalanche in the past, a Donner Party got lost again, or what's going on in the Sierra Nevadas to block my beloved Dr. Pepper shipments, but uh, Mr. Pibb, actually, I forgot that it's actually pretty tasty. It's a cherry based soda. Any case, how's everybody doing today? We doing good? We feeling good? We looking good? I hope so. I know this isn't the normal time. Honestly, my back and leg are really killing me. So I really just wanted to do this earlier. I didn't think I'd have the stamina later, but I still wanted to come and say hi and see what was going on in the fishy corner of the universe of the internet. And today I kind of wanted to talk about loosely. I kind of wanted to talk about the implications of redoing a tank because recently I've done a bunch of just upkeep and maintenance to tanks, and it's incredible when you know your fish well, when you know the dynamic of the ecosystem of your aquarium, where it's just amazing how much things change just when you move plants or when you move some sort of log or rock or whatnot. So let's take a look at a couple tanks. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and chime on in as always. If you use the @secret history living in your aquarium, it really helps me out. Members, usually I can see your chats, they get highlighted a little bit better generally, but not always. So if you use that it helps. You can do @Alex, and that helps a little bit too, just for my eyes, but it actually highlights it if you use and then the channel. Brooklyn. Oh, you're literally doing it right now, huh? Well, welcome to the Rescape party. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Also, by the way, it's good to see everybody. Good to see friendly faces. Mary, Dee Dee, Shell, Kelly, Indoor Fishing, Brooklyn, 3G, Josh, John, the Nano Aquarium, Snoochie Boochie, George. Who else do we got in here? John, what's going on, buddy? John Manro, Yeti. Yeah, good to see everybody. So, I'm going to turn this around. You guys know what I look like in my terrible remaining two front teeth. So, let's take a look at what I've done. What have I done? Forgive me for what I have done. Wow, that looks really cloudy for some reason. I promise you this tank is not actually cloudy. It is crystal clear. That's odd. I guess it's just maybe the light's too far forward. Hold on. Let's see what's going on. Oh, filming. In any case, just redid this tank. You guys may have seen the video. Also, we have the fish that my wife really liked that she picked out, that she named Betty. Now we've got 3 because Betty was getting picked on, and my wife was aghast that the fish would pick on each other when I add a new fish. So, yes, we are... thanks, Mary. Yeah, we have now 3 of them, and I think they're the 3 sirens, or maybe like the siren sisters. But they look like they're wearing sequins because they're that pearl scale. And they're siblings. I figured I'd pick them all up. Like when I had the opportunity, they were $20 a pop, which is kind of more than I'd like to pay for angelfish. But they are really nice, and they're locally bred, and I like to support local breeders. Hey, Mountain Greenery, Geek Boy, Looney, what's up? So this is one of my main problems in this tank. And there is some stuff floating in the tank. That's what's like lit up on the live stream. So that's Probably because I moved the dirt and stuff, but when you look closely, it looks like it's pretty filthy, but it actually, like, to the human eye, it looks pretty clean, really. So it's just frustrating that it doesn't look as great here. Um, yeah, also, while Mary mentioned it, hey, Big Tank Hank, what's going on, buddy? And Mary Beth, hello. Upper Aquatics, what's up, Biscotti Nunya, the artist formerly known as Biscotti Nunya. Yeah, so what was I gonna say? Oh, well, Mary mentioned it. If you want to join to be a member, I'm gonna be trying to upload everything that I upload for the Aquatic Morning Show, which is 4 episodes a week that are short trivia information just for you guys. So if you want to watch that and you're not a member, I'm not financially limiting anybody. You can still go watch the Aquatic Morning Show on Main's Tail Fur and Fins channel. But the little news segments I'm doing there, I'm going to stack them all into like a 20-minute or whatever it ends up being, like stack of all 4 back to back. And each week they should be in there. This week I had surgery, so there isn't a entry for that. Or I mean, I was scheduled to have surgery. Like I just said, if you're coming in now, the doctors canceled the day before the surgery 2 days ago because of half the nurses and anesthesia team and surgeons and stuff in the whole hospital have the Rona. So they couldn't do the actual surgery now. They're scheduling it for next week tentatively. Hopefully, I really, really hope so. But in any case, yeah, when you redo a tank, it's amazing what new issues come to light. And the reason, hey Pete, what's up? Lady Diane, hello as well. So the reason that I redid the tank is these, well, actually, I think it's going to end up being 2 males and a female, but they're just littler than the black, more metallic angelfish. And this guy is really the main problem in the entire tank. And I'm tempted to go throw him in with my other gigantic 8-inch angel and just see how he likes it, to kind of put him in his place. Sometimes, honestly, I know that sounds mean, but as long as they're not like literally hurting each other, to me, it's a good way to actually keep the structure of who's tank boss in check. So yeah. Hey, what's up, Roxanne? Good to see you. I know I'm streaming at an odd time, and I'm probably going to cut over Father Fish a bit, but I just got to do it for my own stamina today. I can't stand very long, and I can't... Honestly, I have to kind of focus and hold it together to stream. So I'm just going to do it now because you guys are my therapy, my friend group, my hangout, my social activity for the week, the day. So yeah. But in any case, the angelfish are jerks. These black angelfish are really jerks. They are siblings, and they came with a marbled angelfish, and they literally killed the marble angelfish. And when I found it, I mean, they'd been fighting for a little while, and when I found her, I'm guessing it was a her, and I'm guessing that's a male, and that's a male also, the 2 black ones. They literally had rammed her poor gills, her operculum gill cover. They had rammed to the point where all the scales were all mangled, like missing and off, and she had blood coming out of her gills and mouth. So they were really, really, really vicious to her. And she was pinned back up in here, like she had tried to escape and got stuck back there. So yeah, I figured when I put 3 in that might go better. Angelfish are cichlids, and they just tend to be jerks sometimes. So yeah, they just do that. Hey Dev, what's up? And Jimmy P, welcome. Scott, welcome. Azuravian too, howdy. So yeah, I redid the tank also because something that I've learned and used to pretty good effect usually is that when you have a tank, especially if it's like been a certain way for a long time and the plants have all been growing a certain way for a long time, when you totally redo that, when you like, I pulled some sticks down and I rearranged some anubias on the logs and I totally cut out basically the center here and then replanted the crowns. That's a quick overview, and it's going to be a little more Dutch style where the actual species are together in clumps. But doing this, it gives a lot more space up and down for the fish, which obviously is going to give them more room to have territories. But honestly, it's it just throws them off their game. It makes the tank boss, who's this guy right here, it makes him unsure of his control or of his surroundings. Whenever you change something, obviously fish remember things and they get used to things and they pick a spot to hide or a territory that's kind of theirs, so to speak. And right now these three are new, and so they don't have a spot yet. The one that's been here a week, she's doing okay, and she's kind of been picking spots that are alone in the corner. But the black moor angelfish, they seem to spend most of their time either hunting shrimp, which I think is kind of keeping them aggressive, unfortunately, and also fighting one another. I mean, they're not nice to one another. So the problem is they're siblings, and they're the exact same size, and they want to know who's the top male. And if you guys are an angelfish expert and you guys think these are females, let me know. But I'm thinking with the crook in the head and just the behavior that I've witnessed and all that, I think they're males. So we'll see. But it's hard to tell if you don't know the line of angelfish. You know, if certain lines have more pronounced nuchal humps or cranial bumps than others, and some have different fin features between the genders and so forth. But it's hard to tell with a jet black fish. I mean, there's not one sex that's more colorful, obviously. But they do have like a metallic blue to them. I don't know if you guys can make that out through the haze in the tank. But in any case, so I redid this tank, and it's kind of shaken everyone off their game. These three are staying together, but they seem to like this spot, and that's fine by me because I think it is one of the most photogenic spots in the tank that they could hang out, because they're right next to this red Aponogeton ulvasis, which to me, like, this is the one that flowered, and I took the seeds and I let them float back into the tank, and then I put some other ones in the other tanks. So we'll see. But the plecos, the cool thing that's happened when I've reorganized the whole tank is that I've had leopard frog plecos for almost 5 years, the oldest one, and 3.5 years for the youngest one, I believe, is how old they are. And so the oldest one's definitely full grown, and the middle two are probably full grown and just going to get a little fatter. And then what's nice about it is that they used to be really shy, and there used to be plants all over here, right? So they got really used to hanging out on this rock. And they got used to hanging out on the rock and hanging out on the wood and feeling secure, feeling like nobody could see them there, and that was their little thing. And actually, throughout the day, they've even been out dead smack center of the tank visible, which is nice, and I hope that it stays that way. But if I hadn't reorganized the tank, that never would have occurred. Like, you would not see them ever, usually, if they had their druthers. Then we've also got, we've also got some other critters in here. Like, we've got some little plecos hiding back behind stuff. So there are places, I like to give little voids enough for a fish or two to hide in a few different spots. There's another one here, there's another one back there, there's another one up behind the plants here, behind all this anubias. So, it makes it so there is an escape. Now, if your fish are actually at the point where they follow your fish across like a 40-gallon breeder, and then they keep attacking, then you've got a problem that probably needs to just be moved. That fish is probably going to need to be rehomed. That's my opinion. Or you need to get a tank boss that is old and tired and way stronger. So I could probably put the female blue that I have in here, the blue stripe tetra or blue stripe angel. You can see where they've been like ripping fins off, or I mean scales, not fins. Well, actually the top of his dorsal has been ripped. But yeah, so they've been really going at it in here. And the other thing that's happened is the betta is just super curious, super exploring every inch of the tank now that I've reorganized. So I just encourage you guys, not even just for upkeep or beauty's sake, but just for the sake of trying something new and seeing how your fish react. It's just really fun to watch. All the schooling fish are kind of out in the open. They're clearly not threatened by the angelfish because now the angelfish are concerned with each other. The angelfish stopped chasing all the little fish and are now only concerned with each other. And that's another piece of fish wisdom that I'm sure a lot of keepers who've been in the hobby for a while know. But if you have, say, 3 or 5 or 2 or 4 or whatever, under 6 of a species, and they're still concerning themselves with fighting with another species, like one of them is or all of them are, usually you can prevent that by adding more. So like 5, or, usually it's somewhere between 5 and 8 of a species and up will prevent that dynamic from developing. But these, I think this is a female here, the way the head's smooth. Not positive though. It's hard to tell with angelfish, like I said. You don't know for sure until you see the ovipositor or eggs or mating behavior, and one of the other genders, that kind of thing. The other thing you can sometimes tell is in a really bright LED light. Sometimes you can see when they've got eggs in their belly. And also you can just see a fattened belly. But generally you can kind of look down on them and see if it's a consistent fish, then it's usually a male. If it's got an inconsistent wideness down the length of it, like this, then it's usually more female. So that's probably a female, a little bit fatter down lower, whereas the top is pretty even. And here, see how even altogether this one is? That's probably the male. If not, this one also being a male, we don't know yet. When they're really young, it's very hard to tell. But the other giveaway is the notch on the head. So sometimes, like this guy here, almost certainly, well, just from the behavior, I'm guessing male too. But this is definitely that kind of notch that you're looking for. You see how the forehead right above the eye, sorry about the glare, gives you that notch. That is really, really intensely pronounced in this line, whereas the other one too has it but not so pronounced, and that's probably because it's the tank boss. So due to hormones, due to testosterone and cortisol specifically, the nuchal humps, I mean, they need the vitamins to grow the nuchal humps on their head, but a lot of cichlids, or fish in general, but usually cichlids, have that nuchal hump on their head, and it gets bigger as they get more into breeding condition and older. And when one becomes the tank boss, their body actually produces far more testosterone and less estrogen, whereas the females produce more estrogen once they've established, like, he's the boss, I'm his either head female or the subdominant females. They with cichlids and social fish, the chemical receptors are actually very real. They've done studies. I mean, they know that they put off pheromone cues as well. And interestingly enough, when fish are in a colony, I just happened to watch a YouTube video on this, and maybe I'll link it for members later if I remember. But they were saying how you guys may know that human menses or period cycles oftentimes sync up when women live together without too many men around. And it's called the Wellesley effect, kind of tongue in cheek, but at Wellesley Women's College, they found that roommates in the 1960s, during a study, that women actually would start to line up with one another when they had their monthly cycle. And fish are no different. Fish also, the subdominant ones will lengthen their cycle until it matches the dominant female. Now, the issue is that in fish, they sink and then they unsink and stagger. So that was the video I was watching, was talking about some new research, which is that they unsink so that the male can then spawn with each female at a different time. So, this one may be ready to lay eggs, say, on the 3rd of the month. This one might be on the 8th of the month. This one might be on the 20th, and who knows. So they'll stagger those so that the male, in theory, if conditions were good for babies, he could mate with multiples. Now, angelfish like to monogamously pair bond, and so that isn't so key in any evolutionary way. But if you guys remember, I had an angelfish named Sergio, and Sergio had 3 females at one point, and he spawned with all 3 a week apart and had 3 clutches of babies that he would go in between and take care of. Well, then at one point, I learned that if he had 3, he would usually choose to eat one of them. And I don't know if it was like he was eating the weakest ones or what, but it's just kind of interesting how that happens. But when we do that, and when we do big water changes, or if we rearrange things, it interrupts that signal, that those cues. And same with schooling fish, which they generally, and these cochus are looking really beautiful. They've got like a nice turquoise and purple and like a blue on them. The color just sucks on live streams, but I'll get some pictures up of them either on my Instagram or on something else. But I mean, man, they're like rainbow fish right now, like totally lit up in greens, blues, and purples, and looking really good, which they weren't before I reorganized the tank. But now that they can kind of actually shoal a little bit better, before there were plants in between, now they're feeling like they are a cohesive unit, I think. And so when they're scared, let's see if I can, yeah, when they're scared, they kind of clump together. See how the cochus are together? And then they relax and spread back out. So there's that. I feel like, did I miss a question? Sorry, guys. I know if you guys have questions, feel free to jump in. Yeah, great crowd in here tonight for sure. Love you guys. You guys are my core. I feel like all my favorite people are pretty much in here right now, so I appreciate it. Monster Fish Gal, what's going on? How are you? Jay Oliver, what's up? Val, hello. Bill, hello. Did I miss anyone else? There's probably some lurkers that I don't know of as well. Geek Boy, what's up? How's it going? Yanji, hello. So yeah, that is something I would recommend, is redoing your tank. Sorry to hear that, Val. I hope you feel better soon. A lot of people are sick right now. Yeah, Regina, hello. SC, hello. So I hope, oh, here we go. Just like I was saying, when you redo your whole tank, these guys used to think they were hidden. I don't know if they'll learn that they're not hidden. Hopefully, if I don't bug them all the time, they won't learn. But my leopard frog plecos, which are my all-time favorite pleco, you can see here that they're out just chilling in the open in the middle of the day, colors blazing, and I'm really hoping that they pair off soon. I still have all the little pleco caves back here, and you know what we have, and I figured I'd save this for y'all because you're my peeps. So watch this. All right, so Daddy Pleco, it's time to leave your babies. So we're going to see how many babies are even left in here. There's a good number, I think. So we're going to take this into the other room, and we're going to dump the babies out, because he's been on that nest, unfortunately, for over a month now. And I hadn't seen the male with his big old onodontodes, bristles. I hadn't seen him for a long time. And the other day, I realized uh, is he on babies again? Like, this dude has babies on cue every month. And so I saw today, after cleaning up the tank, about 10 little baby plecos hanging out down in here. And so that means that they're starting to leave dad, and it's time to put them somewhere else, because those angels will pick off those pleco like friggin' hors d'oeuvres. So we're going to move them into what's become the spawnery, or the little nursery tank, which is right here, which I need to get the duckweed off of because everything looks bright green in here. But also check out how old the CPDs are now. Look at how they are. Also the quarries are pretty big now. The Venezuelan quarries are pretty big now. They're doing well. So yeah, but oh, and the last batch of Pleco, lemon Pleco fry are in here and doing their thing. You know, I don't feed them like 3 times a day like I really should be, or keep enough food in that they just have this constant mess of food. And so usually I tend to get about 15 or 20 that survive out of 30 to 50 that they tend to spawn with monthly, which is fine because that's about what I can manage. So yeah, I'm gonna put these babies though into the tank right now. We'll see if any come out. Oh, here they come. They come shooting out. Zoo, 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 zoo. There they all go. And honestly, some of these guys look bigger than the Plecos. Yeah, he's been on them forever. That dad has been on these Plecos forever. He has been sitting on them over a month, and I don't know what they ate in there, but look at the size of them. They're the size of the ones that are already in here for 2-3 months. What gives? So I don't know what the deal is there, but apparently daddy had some babies, and we just want to make sure. Oftentimes they really hang on to the corners of the tank, so you kind of have to violently at the end here shake them out, and then they'll find, yeah, there comes the last couple. All right, so speaking of changes to a tank, this is going to throw off who's the top dog in this tank, that's for sure. All right, now let's see where those babies went. Yeah, so some of them are right there. Some of them went and hid, which is good. That's fine. Now you can see also all the quarries are interested in what the heck's going on. So there's that. They're sniffing around. They smell the babies. But I just wanted to show you guys too, when I do this, look at how the other fish can tell there's something new in the water. I smell fresh meat. Freshman. And some of the babies are going straight to grazing, so that's good. They don't even have their yolk sacs anymore. A lot of times dad sits on them right till they lose their yolk sac, and then he will release them. But these ones seem to, even the littlest of them, which seem to have gone to this corner, they don't have yolk sacs. They have formed bellies. They can graze. They're fine. I don't know how they can get that big in the cave. Honestly, I've never seen them get that mature in the cave. That's very, very odd. So if you have an answer, please tell me. I don't know how they were getting food in there unless the father was bringing them food, which would be pretty unheard of in Pleco. Cichlid will do that, but not so much Pleco. They are not carrying parents after the yolk sacs are gone usually. But yeah, you can see all the CPDs in here. Oh yeah, I guess you're right. They do graze on the cave. The cave does have quite a bit of algae on it still. I think you're right. Great point, Lady Diane. A really good point. I think that's why this is so clean right now. It's usually green. So dad probably did let the babies come out and graze a little bit extra too on the outside. He usually lets them come and go right at the mouth of the cave, but then kind of herds them back in at night. you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, the nursery tank's doing well. All these guys are fine. No filter in here. I did add a heater because it's been really cold the last few days. And it's just one of those heaters that turns on at 78 automatically, 76, 78, something like that. So, but the CPDs are growing pretty quickly too. You can see I've got a nice school of them in there. And then we've got the other school before that that's also doing well. Let's go put this back before Dad has a meltdown. So this cave is made by Caves Are Us. And no, I don't know actually off the top of my head who made this Pleco cave. Let's see if we did get all the babies. Oops, sorry guys, you got stuff in the way. Yeah, it looks like we did. Usually they get stuck in those corners, which I don't love, but I think the babies do love that. So let the cave fill, sink it back down. Dad's gonna be he's gonna sulk for a while. He's gonna probably go right back to that cave and be all disgruntled that I took the babies. But he needs to eat. That's the issue, is Dad is so committed. This is such a good, committed, like clockwork couple. See the angel hunting the little shrimp? Shrimp always get away. Angels are terrible at hunting shrimp. But he's such a good, committed father. Love to see it. He's a stand-up guy. He pays his child support. But yeah. Oh yeah, so people are kind of asking nursery tank. Yeah, there's a video where I set up that tank, and it's called Celestio Pearl Danio, or CPD, Colony Breeding Tank, which was the original plan. But then I ended up with fry from the Pleco and from my gouramis, my albino paradise fish had fry. And I had nowhere to put them that made sense. So I was like, all right, parents out, putting all babies in that tank. So I like to do it, and I've done it in the past, where I have just a 10-gallon tank, and you can raise probably 30 to 40 baby plecos to about an inch long, and I can do it filterless. If I had a filter and was doing water changes, I would really be able to do a lot. But the thing is, in that tank, I don't feed them like green beans and things like that bulks them up really quickly. I feed them kind of slow and steady, wins the race style. Let them graze on the algae that is formed just by the tank not being filtered. So the nitrates might spike in that tank a little bit, but I've got a lot of fast growing plants. And so I just cut those, like the hornwort and the kabamba in that tank down there grows real fast. It's got a real strong light. So yeah. But I like, you know, the other thing that's happened since this is going on, since I moved things around, the bettas claimed this corner and kind of chasing even the angelfish out of it. So he's decided, or she, sorry, has decided that, yeah, her area, her ovipositor is out, which is interesting to me. There is another betta in here that I assume to be female. But she's hiding right now. I don't know where she went. She's the one I call Rose, that's got the peach and red and cream colors. She's like a yellow koi variant. Any case, so redoing the tanks, yeah, I really recommend it in just trying to see new behaviors in your fish. It really brings out new tank bosses. It allows the schooling fish to school differently. And then the other thing is, this had been grown over with red root floaters and stuff, which makes the fish feel really safe and everything, but they don't have room to kind of socialize and do their thing at the surface, where guppies, for instance, just love to hang out. Guppies love the surface waters. So I kind of like to keep best of both worlds and just kind of keep it all at bay. But I mean, I've got a bucket here that's about that full of plant trimmings from here, filled with water, that hopefully someone in my area will want to pick them up, toss me a couple bucks. I still need to keep pruning this Anubias. A lot of these leaves are 6 months to a year old, and the Pellia, or the Swassertang rather, has been growing very densely, even without CO2 in there, and I don't know why. I mean, it's just this tank. I've never had that happen before. But this, I wanted to share too that I have the mini Anubias fraseri, and a boost there, so don't confuse those. But the mini Anubias Fraseri that's got that curled leaf there, the more yellow color, that's a really cool plant. I really enjoy that plant. If you guys have seen it newly around, because I'd never seen it before, I bought it about 4 months ago, and it's cool because usually, the petite nana stuff, it's great. I love it, but it's just that same old spade-shaped leaf all the time, which is cool and all, but I like to see the variation in leaf shape. So it'd be fun to do a whole tank with that, but it'd be prohibitively expensive at the moment. Okay, so we're going to go over to this tank and just take a look, because this is another tank that I totally redid. And right now I've got a bunch of stem plants willy-nilly planted in here. Basically, we've got white cloud minnows. We've got some of these beautiful L201 plecos, the dwarf snowballs, or the sometimes they're called like the Amazonian. What do they call them? The Amazonian dwarf plecos. Let's see here. Okay. I just want to see. The baby tank is amazing. How do you manage to remove grown fry? I just pull the fry out one by one. I mean, it's a 10-gallon tank. I just pull the log out, and then I just, grab which ones I need. Now, this is another little breeding project I'll let you guys in on. Usually I keep my guppy and Endler projects secret for a while. This guy looks totally plain in most light, but if you get him just right, let's see if we can get him just right. Sorry about the shaking. He turns totally aqua and turquoise and violet. Really cool iridescence. So he's got the guppy iridophore gene. The gene that isn't for pigment, it's for reflective metallic scales. And then he's only got a little bit of orange and black pigment, which really contrasts nicely. It looks like looks like a Denver Broncos, team mascot fish. But yeah, so this tank, I want the algae to grow because I want these plecos to be able to graze. But they also eat, fish food leftovers and stuff like that. Then we've got the white cloud minnows. We've got the Endler project. And then we've got, there are some little cory, pygmy cories, not Histotus or Herbrosis, but the actual pygmy ones. And we've also got up here the gold ring danios. You can see those. When they are in good shape, as I've said so many times, probably my favorite danio. The males have a nice lavender metallic color to them. That's a female right there. See her big old belly? So there's two females right there. So I need to move them, the 6 of them, I need to move those 2 really egg-laden females somewhere where they can have babies. And it looks like already some of the guppies, maybe, are these little Endlers or guppies? Yeah, I don't think no one else would have grown that quick. They're having their babies. So, yeah, that's good. But again, this was a tank that I totally redid. I mean, if you guys remember this tank from almost 2 years ago now, this was the deep substrate. As you can see, it's 9 inches in the back and about 5 in the front. Yeah. Deep substrate, and it's got a plenum under the whole terraced back area. And this tank consistently 0 nitrates. Just no nitrates detectable ever in this tank, even when I cut the plants way down. So I really think a combination of the way I do my filtration. I mean, I do usually put a 40-gallon breeder filter on a 20-gallon tank kind of thing. And that's just kind of how I run everything. Like, this is a 46-gallon system, and this is a 75-gallon hang-off-the-back filter. Or that's what it's up to, supposedly. But I like to just always keep with hang-off-the-backs. Keep it doubled, and then if the flow slows, it's no big deal. But you can see now that Daddy's out of the cave, and his onodontodes have grown 3 sizes large. His heart probably has 2. We want to get that checked out. But yeah, these little lemon plecos, these are the real lemon plecos. There's some that get sold that are just leucistic, and they just are the albino blue-eyed pleco, like this one, that have yellow coloration to them. They still have their yellow and red pigmentation cells. But the yellow, the true lemon plecos, which I got from Aquatic Arts, and this pair that's so consistent at breeding, they're probably 6 years old because I got them probably a year old 5 years ago. It's the first thing I got from Aquatic Arts was those plecos. Well, actually, it was shrimp was the first thing I got, but the first fish I got from them was the pair, that and then the female wherever she went. I don't know where she went. But she's quite a bit smaller. The female Pleco is quite a bit smaller. But yeah, the other thing, I'm really hoping to propagate this once those little seedlets that I let float off into the tank, hopefully they'll pop up growing, wherever. And so I also wanted to give that some space to happen. So there's some like exposed soil plus room for things to settle. But I am a little worried that the Pleco, and more so that the Venezuelana quarries that are in here. Let's see if we can find any. They're down in this tangle of substrate here. Oh, Dad's going back to the cave to pout. But yeah, so they're somewhere in here, but they tend to eat new plants, tissue culture plants they eat. And that's because tissue culture plants are rich in, one, the nutrients that they just soaked up from the gels that they're in, like so. And, well, this one's out of gel. I need to plant that one ASAP. Here we go. Here's one with gel. So here's a tissue culture plant with gel on it. And this stuff is full of both growth hormones and a growth regulator, and then also all the nutrients these things need. And it's sterile. So when the plants come in, they're like little, preloaded vitamin and mineral packets for delivery. So be careful with cories and any like little gentle plants that you have in tissue culture form. They will eat the heck out of them. They will, and get the gel off too. That hormone, it's a plant hormone. It's not a fish growth hormone, but it's still just, not the best. Now, I always get these from Aquatic Arts, and I just love them. So I want to play with these real quick to see what the fish do. Sorry if my camera angle goes insane while I get this out of the thing. All right. So I like to just, whoa, the fish are going to eat them apparently. The pollen granules. These things are awesome, if nothing else, for photography. But I think the big container is like $14.99 at aquaticarts.com, and I think the little ones maybe $11.99 or something, or I don't know, I'll have to check. But watch what these things do. So they're little bee pollen granules, and what they'll do is they'll sink to the bottom if fish don't eat them first, which is what happened to, I put like 20 in there, and they mostly got eaten. Hey, look, he looks like Kermit the Frog as he's eating. Look at his little nose. Hi, guys. How's it going? Kermit the Frog here. I'm just eating some lettuce. It's just Alex's favorite Logonandrum eboldi. Only $100 plant that I'm going to rip apart. All right, Xanadu, you have a good one, sir. But, yeah. Let's see. Oh, there they go. So these little pollen granules fall. And then what happens is they start to bubble. They're like Mentos. They start to bubble. Focus. And they start to bubble. And then they'll rise back up. They'll go shooting back up to the top because the bubbles have formed a jacket around it. And then all of a sudden, the whole pollen granule will float back up, hit the top, and then it'll spiral down and melt. And it leaves the coolest little tracers. So hopefully we can see that in just a moment. But yeah, so have I been bad on questions? I haven't seen a ton of at my name or anything, but I could be just a terrible, terrible host. So does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints? We'll wait for those things to start taking off like firecrackers. Did you guys see that one go back up? It was a teeny one, but... Lonnie says... Sorry, guys. I meant to read his comment, not zoom in on the tank crazily. Looney Lonnie says, I've been using the pollen. I like them better in low or no flow tanks. Yeah, that's true. They do a lot better. They do their thing a lot better in that. I was hoping that they would do their thing in this tank. I haven't actually sat and watched them to see if they would do that thing in this tank, though. So there's that. Now, this is another male Pleco I have, and they've never sparred. The two males, there's the lemon and then the albino. They've never sparred. I don't know why. Usually, male Plecos are not the friendliest to each other. They kind of whip each other with their tails or with their little jabbies under their pectoral fins. But they've been really kind doing... Oh, here we go. Here goes one. Look at it go. Oh, fish got it. But yeah, so they just take off and go back to the top, which I love. So I think that they should call them Helter Skelter pollen. I've got a real bad joke coming. Just wait for it. When I get to the bottom, I go right to the top of the slide, and I get to the bottom, and I go for a ride. Yeah, get to the bottom, I go right back to the top of the slide. Come again, and I'll give you a ride, or something like that. Well, that's why they should be called that. Real good marketing, Alex. You're a genius. You should take over all marketing. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the other room because I redid another tank. So now we're going to go look at what Alex did, what Alex done do to his other tanks. I need to clean this room still. It's full of bags and things because I never know where to put bags when I get new fish and they're still like wet. I never know what to do with them because they don't dry very well. So they take a while to dry. So I usually just lay them out on the floor like a hobo. But pollen granules, that's that. If you're interested in them, go there. And I have a discount in the description, which is all caps, no spaces, history secret 15. If you've already used that code and gotten your 15% off, plus all dry goods. If you order just dry goods like their food, their hardscape, their lotus pods and catappa leaves and wood and stuff like that, if you order it, it's no shipping. It's free shipping. And it's a killer deal right now. They did that, and I was like, why don't you just make all your shipping a little bit cheaper? And they're like, well, this works for us right now. And I was like, okay. But in my head, I'm like, I don't know how long that's going to last. So if you're interested in that, use the discount, plus get the free shipping, and thank me in the morning, doctor. Now, I also have a few other little grow out / baby tanks. If you didn't know, that's kind of what these three are. So here we have the mid-size paradise fish, the albino paradise fish, the gouramis. These are a little over an inch. This one's almost 2 inches. And then we have the smaller ones yet here, and the even smaller ones are obviously down in the baby tank. This is a baby betta tank and wild betta tank. And they're just little 2.5 gallons with no filtration or heater or anything, just a light and some duckweed that I take out the duckweed like seriously twice a week, and it's eating all the nitrates. Whereas like this tank, it needs constant water flow. So it just depends on what species of fish you're keeping and what they need. But this is the other tank I redid. And if you recall, this is a sad, sad story. Gather round, kids. I want to tell you a story about a man named Jed. Poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. One day Jed was shooting at some fish. No. So this has become, there were a bunch of bettas in here growing out, and some of them need homes now. But the other thing that's going on, other than beans on a stick, is we've got the cichlids in here. These are the beautiful blue lip guys that don't have a name yet. The green and blue lips don't have the names yet. As far as Latin goes, I could name them. That one's Bob, that one's Fred. But nobody cares what I name them. So they're the buffalo head cichlids that Lawrence Kent brought back. And there's a green and a blue variety of them. Now, this big male here, this is a female with the like lighter stripe on her dorsal and the chain link. That is a male with the big red fins and the blue fins, and then his back fins are yellowy. And wait, what did I just do? Hold on, guys. I didn't realize that this all was an option. Apparently, I can do this, which is super useful. I need like a honky-tonk piano. Oh, there he is. And now I want it back to normal. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Alex, how do you know all this old stuff? You're not my age. I was raised by wolves that were really old. I was raised by my grandparents and then, well, myself too. I mean, I'm 35, but I would say that I hung out with kids that were about 5 to 10 years older from a young age. And then also my grandparents helped raise me more than my parents for a lot of my life. My parents just worked or whatever. My mom had some health issues too. And oh, he's doing it right now. No. This was the sad story about Jed that I was going to tell you. Gosh darn it. Well, that's a goner. Seriously. So, remember I had pseudomcgills and the lovely half-beaks. Well, I've moved 5 of the 8 half-beaks that I had over. No. But the other 3 got sniped by both this guy, or gal, and that guy. They just snapped one day and decided that they were going to start eating every little fish that fits in their mouth. And that was real sad for me. Hold on. How do I get out of... There we go. Yeah, so here's them up close, being the monsters that they are. You know, other people ask, like, how do you memorize things, or why do you know these obscure facts? Well, I love trivia and that kind of stuff, and I just have a predisposition to it. But the other thing is, my grandfather, he was a drill sergeant from World War II, and he also was a doctor by training, who then became a pharmacist, and then he's also a botanist by training. And when I was a kid, he would test me on things like, what mountain range is that, when we'd be on like a road trip? What's the highest point? How tall is it? And if I got it wrong, every wrong answer was 5 push-ups or jumping jacks or painting the fence. I stained that old man's fence about 40 times in one summer because of wrong answers. But in any case, yeah. So there's kind of a weird intergenerational knowledge, I guess, that I probably acquired in the meantime. And then my parents are baby boomers, so I've just picked up whatever they did and know, you know, all the hippie culture stuff and that nonsense. But I'd say that I kind of identify better with Gen X than the millennials. I'm only two years into like the millennial or whatever category. Look at how this one's developed. It's got
a millennial.
Hey, you shut your face hole.
He's a millennial. I'm a zennial.
What else? A zennial?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Is that a flower? So that's your contribution to the show, chastising me. Anyways. Cody Cat, what's going on? Sorry, let me pay attention to you guys. Anyways, the point of this was that this used to have a thick layer of hornwort. And that really controlled the nitrates well. It lets me keep more of a fish load than normally I'd want to keep in a tank. I like to keep the nitrates low, whatever that means. Even if it's like, this is a nasty old hang off the back, and a lot of the water's just being diverted to just be flow. I like to stop up my filter. Oh, whoa, he's actually ripping out leaves now and eating them. You've got green beans here, bro. Why don't you eat your green beans? You drive me freaking insane, you cichlids. Cichlids will redo everything that you want to do in your tank. Wow, look at this pattern. You've been hiding for like a month, and now I see you. And she's got this, like, or he, it's definitely a he. He's got white tips on the fin. Hey, come back here. And red face with a pink collar and then blue body. What a looker. Ooh, and some angry fins chasing the cellophane females into the corner. Bunch of cellophane, dark blue-eyed bettas. Hello. Were born in this clutch, too. Their parents were nothing special to look at. It's kind of odd. Okay, sorry, chat. I got a super chat. Alan, I accidentally clicked dislike button. This is your apology. $6? That's what I get, Alan? $6 for your betrayal? What a deal. I'll take it. Thank you. Thank you so much. You'd rather have Oscars. Yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to find out what's going on. Val, the wet spot in Portland, Oregon has these same cichlids. Lawrence Kent gave them the blue and the green. The green are not always there, but the blue are usually in stock. I think they usually list them under Buffalo Head Warneri cichlids or something, but then it'll say like blue lip, not named, or variant unknown blue lip, something like that. You can go online to thewetspotaquatics.com to find out, though. Cody Cat, I can see and hear you. There's no shadow banning. Shadow banning's a myth in chat, that's for sure. Let's see here. You have mold growing on your moneri that have breached the water and you were surprised. What's the question? Hold on. I had a question about mold growing on breached moneri, so immersed leaves. Also, I'm curious about the aquarium plant you had in your 10-gallon that looked like submersed lily pad with a single central stem. Submersed lily pad. Let's see. Oh, you're thinking about the 20-gallon, the Hydrocotyle verticillata. Yeah. It's this plant. It doesn't do so good in low light or no light, basically. But we'll go look at it again in a moment. We can actually give that some more light so it does grow. Now, I put my wild bettas in here, and I also put my my Trilineatus in here, and they're real shy. Everybody hides in all the time, but I put a bunch of red root floaters up there. This tank's still all the same. I thought I had some Hydrocotyle verticillata in here, but I don't. But yeah, and then this tank is still covered in red root floaters and immersed plants now. I kind of want to let it grow immersed and mount this up higher. And then the other thing that I need to get done with this tank is getting the, sorry about the dirty glass, is get the big convict cichlid, not him, but the other one, his sibling, out of there, because he is a monster bully, and he's going in with these. He's going to be in a world of hurt. No, he's going to go in with these fish. So if he can't play nice, he can't play at all. And he's going to go in with the Haplochromis. Now, I know this tank's dirty, but they've made it that way, so blame them. There's one angelfish in here that's huge that I think I'm going to donate her finally. Vanity. I think I'm going to donate her to somebody who's got a bigger tank. Or like a school of angels. This plant, is this the one you're talking about? This is Hydrocotyle verticillata. Oh, I've got it right here. Wait, focus. Focus. Why won't it focus? Hydrocotyle verticillata. Anyways, yeah. So I have some plants ready for the 90p, and also some that I was going to replant in here. But these Venezuelan quarries really dig up all the new plants, like I was saying. So I don't know if that's going to happen in here. Probably a waste of money. Let's see here. Got to get back to the bottom. Hey, Alan, super chat again. Hey, Atkins. What's up, Ian? Oh, that's what I was going to show you guys. How are you doing? Oh, wow, look at this. The leopard frog pleco is way up on the pretty plant, the Aponogeton ulvaceus red or purple, which again, it is flowered. I got seeds from it. I put the seeds in the water after drying them for a few days. We'll see if we can get some babies. And this was a plant that a guy named Will sent me. And it is my favorite plant at the moment, other than Logonandrome buldi silver powder, which is more of a shaded plant. But yeah, look at that. Boy, that's a picture right there with the albino angels and the black angel and the tiger leopard frog pleco. I don't know why they call them leopard frog plecos. There's no dots. There's no rosettes or, markings like that. They're stripes, and it's all stripe. But in any case, there's 5 of them in here. There's 4 caves lined up here and 2 caves hidden under there. So I don't know why only these plecos breed, but I'm really hoping that those leopard frogs will breed. So I've been feeding them bloodworms pretty much daily, getting a turkey baster and squirting it right to where they're at. What's the pH in the angelfish tetra guppy tank, the crazy tank? The pH is right around 7 in here. 6.8 to 7 is where it hangs. The aqua soil by ADA, mixed half Fluval, half aqua soil. Then there's sand and some gravel in there too at the very bottom. But that kind of keeps the pH buffered a bit. There's enough minerality in those clay-based active substrates. But it did have ammonia in it, so when you dig into it, it does, if you kick up a bunch of dust to the point where it's like murky and you can't see, the ammonia will rise to like the lowest notch on the thing. Even like 3 years after I started this tank, but I did top it off a year ago when I moved back into this house. So I did add some more. Cody Cat, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. You are a rock star. $20 for answering a question. Easiest job I've ever had. Thank you so much, buddy. Monster Fish Gal. Alex, I have a Higer Horizon 8-gallon tank. What to make the faux rock wall look like a grass wall? What would I recommend? That's an interesting question. That's cool. So you want it to look like grass. I mean, flame moss is what comes to mind immediately. It's a moss that grows very straight up and down. I don't have any of it currently. Do I? Oh, I do. That doesn't help you. It's not growing yet underwater. But look up flame moss. That might be one way to achieve it if you actually grew it on a mat, one of those mesh mats where you can grow moss onto, and then cut that into thin strips and then layered those thin strips tiered, like slightly overlapping at a like slight angle or a slight bend like this, and then kind of stack them in like that. You might get that look. The other thing that you could try is like some of the Riccia fluitons, the ones that everyone knows, but there are others. And then there's also these Mayaka plants, which have nice little leaves like grass. If you wanted to trim it all the time, you could definitely use something like this and cut the crown off, and then you'd be left with, well, let's just do that. Bye-bye crown. You'd be left with, something. Well, I didn't do a very good job of that. I cut it not at the node. Hold on, guys. All right. So you could lay this horizontally, and they'll still grow. They'll try to grow up, but you can definitely run them like this, and you could do a couple layers. The other one you could do is like dwarf hairgrass, I suppose, but you'd need some sort of little tray or ledge to plant that in. It definitely needs substrate. That's really the problem with all of those. Man, that is a good question, though. Lori, that's a really cool idea. Let me think on that more, too, because I'm trying to think what you could do. I mean, you can get moss to grow in pretty cool ways sometimes, Like, you could trim all this evenly if you wanted to be really meticulous about it. And you can also get Sawassertung to grow like this. If you guys can see, can you see that at all? Hold on, let me zoom in. The way it grows, where I just trimmed it back. Oh man, that's terrible. Why can't we see this? It's driving me insane. But it's like a flat wall of Sawassertung that just grows in rows, but that's not really grass. It's more of just a consistent wall. Yeah, That's a tricky one. I think you stumped me. I think you've turned a tree to a stump. Osceola Llewellyn, happy Friday. Thank you so much. And for those of you joining now who are like, why aren't you having your surgery? What's going on? Well, my surgery got postponed because of the Rona. So I've got one more week to wait. Now, what I want to show you guys too, look at this beautiful Betta rubra I got. That was from Aquarium Co-op. Randy, who does the Aquarius podcast, and who is their operations manager, I think is what his name is, or I don't know what his exact title is there. But Randy of Seattle / Edmonds, Washington, he was breeding these, and they are just a beautiful wild betta. Super cool, but they're real shy, and so are my trilineatus cichlids that are in there too. Here's the female, not as much to write home about, but she's still cool. And they're real peaceful so far. Nobody's had any issues. Speaking of not peaceful though, barbs, they're nippy. The gold barbs and the rosy barbs are super nippy. Those gouramis or paradise gouramis, paradise fish, super mean and nippy. Convict cichlids, super mean and nippy. I mean, not as mean as like some of the fish that will like just destroy anything in their path. But so the other thing I wanted to show you guys was that's cute is my photo cichlids, the photo river cichlids. Let me move this. So this is for the little where are they? For the thread fins and the Pseudogilla luminatus, they'll lay eggs on this nightly or morningly, honestly. But this wood, look what they've excavated here. So this wood, they've made a trench, and they made like a friggin' village out of Star Wars. They took those little ceramic huts there, and they filled, like they stacked all this sand. This sand was all the way over here, and they carried it mouthful by mouthful and built a castle. And then this was sitting here. That rock there was upright, that big long rock, and they excavated underneath it. Hey, sweetie, come out. Here, I'm going to try to flush her out so you can see her colors, because these are a beautiful fish. Ian has these of... oh, she just went into another hut. Well, that was a bust. You can see pictures on Instagram. I just uploaded pictures of her. She's real pretty right now. She's in spawning color. But they excavated all the way down to the glass. And over here, they displaced the sand into a big old mound over there too that goes along the whole back of the tank. So I love watching what they do, but they've totally renovated everything I wanted done with the aquascape, and they even moved the huts, so the male had the strength to do that, and then they excavated. It looks like they're going to want to spawn under that ledge. But what's cool about this is they've excavated it so that it's one trench in kind of a canyon. So they've got an exit here and an exit over there, and kind of they can sneak out through that notch too. So with this back on it like a lid, the way it was when they dug it, they've got that little ramp out of there. And then this was over here when they built it. So they feel real protected in there. Yeah. So there's that. I just thought that was cute and endearing, and I wanted to show it to you. Okay, let me get to the comments again. Oh yeah, Utricularia gramifolia is another good one. Great call, Brian. Definitely. This is a half-beak that's pregnant. She'll have babies sooner or later. But right now in here, this tank has got the rasboras from redfish, bluefish, the strain from Prague, from the Czech fish breeders. And then it's got the fish that was extinct, the Somfong rasbora, which is the one with the kind of black line on it. They're very teeny. They stay around this size, chili rasbora size. And there's the half-beak for reference. And they were thought to be extinct, and they found 3 of them in an aquarium glauser order in Europe about around 2013, I think, 2016 maybe. And since then, in that short time, they've bred them back to the point where, 1, they've reintroduced them, and 2, into the rivers around Bangkok, like urban rivers and ditches. And 2, now they're selling them in the hobby, and so they're kind of cool, but I like to keep spawning them. They have a really beautiful luminescence on them. And then those are the African amber barbs that look like, I mean, they just look, the yellow ones with the dot on their tail, those are the African amber barbs. They're a little pricey. They're $8 a piece, usually $9 a piece. These are the older CPDs up here, if they don't hide, and some baby half-beaks. And then also some baby, we've also got some Bickford-eye pencilfish babies in here too, chilling. But I think these fish all school together really well, or at least shoal together really well. So we've got the Somfong rasboras, the chili rasboras, which I know Phoenix rasboras, strawberry rasboras, and exclamation point rasboras all also school with well. All doing their thing. And then the African amber or ember, depending on who you ask, barbs, they just zoom around in their own little group. Susan, hello. Regina, thank you so much for being a member for 10 months. Hey, Big Dub, what's up? How's it going? Oh yeah, Atkins Nature saw the Lucan's eyes. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, there's the CPDs. They're still pretty shy. I don't know. For size comparison, they're not full grown yet, so when they hang out back there with all the little fish. These are all fish that basically I have plans. This tank's pretty acidic. A little too acidic for the CPDs, honestly. It's about 6.0 right now. So it's more of like an Amazonian / Southeast Asian blackwater tank almost in its composition. But for the half-beaks, they're pretty versatile. They live in flooded forest and saltwater. It's kind of interesting. Oh, right on, Geek Boy. Thank you so much. Remember for a year. Rocket. All right, so here's the Bickford-eye pencilfish. Some of the babies. They're together at the moment. But they look a little different when they're young. They've got the same line down the side and the nice red tail flares. those things have taken forever to grow up. They've been in this tank for months. And then we've got Lucas Brett's bluest blue dream shrimp line in the world, quote unquote. That's what he calls them. I might have to challenge that assertion at this point. They were called that about 8 years ago, which was definitely true at the time. But I think that now a lot of people have gotten to the point where they just have as blue as shrimp as you're gonna get. But yeah, so then also we have the Turkana Jewel cichlids, who are beautiful. I have 5 of them, so, or 6 of them, sorry. And the ones that are not in charge, I want you to see them. So here's one that's in charge. It's a male. I mean, just stunning metallic blues and just beautiful. And then let's look around. There may be babies in this tank. There were eggs in this tank, if you guys recall, last week or a week and a half ago. But I have not seen babies yet. And I thought they'd be down there with mom, but I haven't seen babies yet. So they're either wrigglers and she's hiding them somewhere, or dad's got them in his mouth. There are several possibilities, actually. But they're not a mouth brooder per se, but I've definitely seen them put the babies in their mouth to move them and stuff. So dad does have a big old bulldog pouch of a mouth. So there's that. But yeah, they're a pretty one, and I wanted to show you guys the non-dominant ones because they literally are just gray fish. I mean, they don't even look like anything special. It's very interesting. I'm looking for a female of the Epiplatus drusi, or red chin panchax killifish, as it's also known. So if anybody has a line on where to get females of those, I'd love to know. I'm sure the AKA, the American Killifish Association, knows, but I don't want to be a member. I'm not a joiner. I'm a quitter. Oh yeah, here's the other pair I have of the Turkana Jewel cichlids. They probably have another nest back there too. They have excavated everything again. They always are changing things up. They've used that branch that you can see part of here, and they've built a sand berm right here, and they've got like a divot that they seem to be protecting where that female is. But this is their last batch right in here. And these guys were in a tank that was covered in diatomaceous and just thick hair algae. And they have literally eaten almost every little last bit of it off of it. And that's what I think is causing them to grow pretty quickly. But they're now starting to get some of their little iridescent spots and stuff. And they seem to be doing good. They more come out of the woodwork when, I step back. But there's probably 30 of them or so out of the 55 that I think I counted at the max. So some of them did eat each other. They're not kind fish. They didn't go to charm school. Oh, hey, what's up, Rob Olson? Rob's from the Aquarium Guys podcast is here, and he says, got your podcast episodes ready, just need to chat. Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. He is the mastermind who is going to put things into digital format, and I needed to record an ad for him, and ads for him or whatnot for the ad breaks, and I've just been an idiot and have been doing other things instead of that because I'm an idiot and not valuing his time, and I apologize for that, Robs. I need to record an ad for that so we can get the episodes that lend themselves to being a podcast. He and his team are going to turn them into a podcast for me, so that folks can listen while they drive or whatever to the episodes that are not visually intensive like this one. But yeah, I needed to do a couple things on my end that I've just procrastinated since December, with the surgery and life and snowmageddon and 3 power outages and yeah, just whatever. So I need to work that out. But it's all my fault, not Rob. He's a good man. You'll message me like to pick my brain about something. Okay, sounds good. No offense, but the fish are boring, so why would I want to watch someone's tank? Look, there is nothing going on. Water and fake plants. What? Uh, no, water mold grows. Cody, water mold is very common in aquariums. There are fungi all over in your aquarium, but I mean, I get molds up here all the time. If you have plants, a lot of people get white fuzzy or green fuzzy molds. The main thing is you don't want it to spread to the rest of your house. Most of it is one type of mold. If it's a green or blue or darker mold, it's one type of mold, and it's the same mold that you get on strawberries when you leave them in the fridge. Oh, he's pretty sitting there. The same type of mold you get when you leave stuff in the fridge and it starts to rot, or like when an orange or a grapefruit turns that fuzzy color. It's that same exact species of mold. And it may even be that we in our houses have that mold, and it gets to our plants in spores from our food. It's also similar to bread mold, different species though. If you want to get a fish tank, keep something else in there, like a frog. Everything about that tank look off. Oh, thanks, John. Fish are ungrateful pets. Sure. I don't know. Some of my fish seem pretty grateful. Your new. Oh, Asia says her new, or Asaya. I don't. Is it Asia or Asai or Asaya? I always feel like I get your name wrong, Miss Llewellyn, and I want to make sure I do it right. Not yet planned, but I like to go do partial water changes, lighten things up a bit. Oh, cool. Yeah, definitely. Salad balls, brother, $5. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. Or Sally, rather, whoever you are. Let you know if there's a fish who's grateful to be fed. What do you want it to do? Like, rub my back and, like, make me dinner? That's not what fish do. They don't even have opposable thumbs, sir. Why not get a frog? How's a frog grateful? A frog doesn't do anything. I like frogs, but they don't do anything that's grateful. Fish at least come to you when you feed them. Frogs usually hide. Even if you put crickets in there and they're like, oh God, a cricket. And then humans gone, they're like, oh, I'm a badass. I can eat that cricket. And then they go over and do it. And then they go hide for the rest of the day. Let's see here. Went online, found the spelling. Hydrocotyle verticillata. Yeah, can't wait to order it. Yeah, it's a little hard to find. Sometimes Boost Plant usually has it. It's hard to find as an actual plant that's not just a tissue culture. But usually one of the aquascaping sites will have it. ADA makes tissue cultures of it. And I think others will soon. Ooh, a 33 long, nice Indonesian black water biotope. That will be very cool. I'd get some of those flooded forest half beaks, the real long ones with the red line down the side. And then there's two new species out that are in the hobby too. Keep an eye out for those. Aquarium Co-op has had them at different times, but one is not a live breeder, which is weird because half-beaks are weird in that they are live breeders. They give live birth, but they don't do that, this new kind that they found in Borneo. So talk about land of the lost, man. Let's feed the fish. Come to think of it. Talk about fish not being grateful. Watch how grateful these fish are. Look it, they come. That's grateful to me. Honey, I love you. Wife, will you bring me a back rub? See, my wife doesn't bring me stuff, and I love her. Some would say that she's ungrateful. But I know you're just trolling. You're just trying to cause a fray. You can't Facebook block people in real life because you disagree with them. Okay. Let's see here. Johanna Jean-Francois, hello. I rescaped my tank 1 month ago. Same plants, same substrate, same stratum, okay. Light. Plants are melting and dying. What can you do? I have a video called Why Are My Plants Melting? And it will go over that in about a half hour of probably too much detail. But there's one chance that you could have too much ammonia and it's actually coming from the substrate. Now, plants love ammonia, but right to a certain limit. And if it exceeds that limit, all of a sudden it burns them like a chemical burn and they melt. And those tissue cultures don't have their ultraviolet protection in the form of anthocyanins and carotenoids. They don't have any of that in them yet. And so they burn very easily from both the sun, heat, or, I mean, I don't know why they'd be around heat. The sun, or technically heat, or chemicals. They don't have their like leathery protective barrier on them yet, or a lot of their essential oils. Pea puffers have a wonderful personality. Okay. Let's see here. Drew Eisman, could you mix aqua soil and EcoComplete, or even just layering? Yeah. Oh, of course. I do ADA and Amazonia mixed. Like I mixed it in a bucket and then I pour it in. Love that combo. It's cheaper. Sometimes like Fluval stratum goes on sale. Fluval stratum's not active though. It doesn't have ammonia in it or nitrates. It only has nutrients, which can cause blooms and other things that later will lead to that. But what I really like when I'm starting a tank is a burst of nitrates and ammonia, and to change it constantly with water changes. That being said, that's kind of the higher level aquascaping style of doing it, and you need CO2 and you need a very strong light, or the plants will never be able to keep up with the ammonia, because plants can handle ammonia and process it if they have enough phosphates for their metabolism to be regulated, and if they have the essential micro and macro, well, mostly micro minerals. And then the macros are what, like the carbon and things like that in the gas form, are what they're going to be using respiration for, and then actually they're going to build themselves up that way. But they can't build quick enough. They can't build that scaffolding with all the ammonia. And ammonia is, there's always a limiting factor. I can't remember the name of the law, but when there's always in plants, there's always a one thing that limits others more. Like whatever your highest amount of something is going to dictate that all the other things don't matter until you get that taken care of, basically. And same with whatever your lowest amount is. If it's too low for what is needed, you got to take care of that before anything else functions. So you always have to have a holistic system. It's like a state of equilibrium, like an old natural rule. Thanks, Alex. There are no YouTubes on aquarium mold. Yes, it is that mold. Happened shortly after I put a cantaloupe. I put a cantaloupe, even though I boiled it for... Oh, well, yeah, it's just that mold. You can kill it with this. Hydrogen peroxide, 3%. Also, keeping the humidity down will kill it, but if it's above on the plants, just hit it with this. Get a spray bottle, hit it with hydrogen peroxide, 3%. And when the hydrogen peroxide hits the water, it won't hurt your fish, as long as you're not dumping a bunch in. But it won't hurt your fish, because as soon as hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2, hits water, it turns into the gaseous form of O2, which is in our atmosphere, and then H2, it breaks apart into two hydrogen molecules, which just reform back into water. So literally those bubbles you get, it's nothing sinister. It's just oxygen. And so, yeah, Scuba Steve, what's up? So guys, I got to wrap it up soon, but let me finish any last questions. You guys are all having a healthy debate, but it looks like Lori had enough of it, and I trust Lori. So yeah, I don't think that was being anything productive. Somebody was just trying to pick a fight. I guess somebody just needed attention or something. So we'll see. Thanks for keeping things civil, most of you. Um, Regina, what a doofus. Don't they know that all pets are ungrateful? Yeah, seriously, get a cat. Cats are the least grateful pet ever, but I love them. They're real grateful if you oppress them for a real long time and they're real hungry. Oh, then they're suddenly the sweetest things ever. Oh, take me in. They give you the little sad eyes. They do the little making biscuits on you. And then as soon as they're full, they like poop and then run around the house for an hour at 3 in the morning, and then they go sleep for the rest of the day. Um, I miss my cat. Let's see here. Fishbrella Corporation. Ah, I see fish. I see you have a new name. What's up? All right, guys. Haven't paid attention then. Okay, we're going. The people are still going back and forth. Wow. Sorry you had to moderate so much. That's a rarity on here. Your substrate, Brian says, is layered sand and silt. The dragonstone silted off, and I added more sand, added more dragonstone, etc. I don't know what will happen, but it looks natural. Yeah, no, that's a great way to do it. I mean, I love collecting the silt at rivers and things in my local area. I think that that is a phenomenal thing. Like, some of my tanks have that beautiful crushed, like, powdered sand, and it can cap a layer of aqua soil, like stop the ammonia, in less than an inch. If you have really fine silty sand, it's usually ash. Needs to have happened in like volcanic ash, and it hasn't been compacted into clay yet. But that fine stuff, I mean, it almost leaves like a dust and powder on your hands. That kind of sand, it's great. Let's see here. 9 away from 100 likes. Guys, please hit that like button. We can get to 100. Actually, I don't really care that much, but it would be a nice round number. It would help my OCD. I'd appreciate it. Give me a perfect centerpiece setup tank for some of those buffalo head fish. Perfect centerpiece setup tank. Oh, I would do them in a 40 breeder or a, honestly, they do well in a 55. They do really well in a 55. They'd have room to go up and down. They do tend to hang out about a foot or less above the floor of whatever your substrate is, but they do like to dig. So I would highly recommend, if you get some buffalo head cichlids, that you give them like 5 or 6 inches of sand to be able to dig down and also pile up. And then put some shells and some caves in there. They might be too vicious. These ones I hadn't been violent until literally this week, when they ate all my Pseudomagil gertrudae. They ate 9 of them in one night, and then they ate the half beaks, which I was trying to catch, but they're real quick little buggers, and they hide real well because they're stick thin. So I got some of them out, but then they ate the last of the half beaks too. So now there's no top layer fish other than bettas in that tank that we were looking at earlier. So yeah. Let's see here. Largest blue angel is obsessed with your cat. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Oh, Patty, what's going on? Oh yeah, you missed the drama, Patty. Lori handled it because Lori's the best. Okay, yeah, I could definitely do a video on aquarium mold, Cody. I've done one on the mold that comes off wood. There's purple wood mold, there's green wood mold, and then there's white or black wood molds. But the most common thing that you see is the clear white milky molds, and those are made out of tannins. It's the tannin and the cellulose actually being ripped apart by the fungi, and then the fungi either dies and the cells slough off from the main colony, or the actual cellulose and lignin and tannins of the wood have been basically almost atomized, like turned into their base parts. Well, that doesn't make them lignin and those things anymore, but they've been molecularized and by the fungi, and that is why you get those blooms. But snails and mollies, platies, a lot of live bears love them. Angelfish love eating that stuff off of wood. Plecos love it too. So yeah. let's see here. Goose Not Maverick, what's going on, brother? What was I gonna say? Something. I think my puffers are little telepaths. They come up and they stare at you with an eye. Yeah, they definitely think about their. I mean, they think and then they act. It's very interesting. Man, do we just have a bunch of Glitch? What's up? I'm glad you're here, but I'm gonna have to call it a night. Same with you, Vizine, and HD Aquatics. Good to see you as well. But I'm gonna call it a night. I know I ran a little early tonight on when the stream was. Ooh, look at that leopard frog. That's my biggest one. She's my queen. She's the first one I had, and she's got a big old belly. She's always got a big belly. I mean, that's why they're called leopard frog plecos. They should be called tiger frog plecos, but whatever. She's the one who I am hoping will spawn one of these days. It's been 5 years. Who knows? But yeah, I had a good time tonight. I know we didn't talk a ton about redoing tanks, but Cody, I wouldn't worry about that mold, honestly. I mean, plants mold when they die. It's just, I mean, otherwise we'd have endless amounts of stuff in this world. Fungi break things down, or animals break things down, and fungi needs to break down the stuff that the animals won't. And so it's specialized into breaking down things like lignin, cellulose, tannins, and the minerals that it uses too. So it's actually, I mean, in a way, it's a good thing. You just don't want it growing on your walls and on your other stuff. So, and obviously, if it were black mold, that would be really bad because that can be harmful. But that is a totally benign mold. It's like bread mold. In fact, it actually has some medicinal properties as an antibiotic, like penicillin does. It's a mold. You can look it up. If you Google strawberry molds, you'll find the one that it was. You'll be able to find it, or cantaloupe molds. But yeah, it's just common for wet, damp places to mold. If you dehumidify over your tank, that can help. Or if you completely sterilize your house, that can help. Or if it's colder outside your tank, like 60 degrees, rather than 70 or 80 right above that water line, that'll all help. Otherwise, mold happens, unfortunately. There's not a ton you can do because the spores are so minuscule and they're all over your house. If you have it one place, it's floating all over your house, unfortunately. I try to stream every Tuesday and every Friday. Friday nights I usually stream starting about an hour from now, but tonight I went early because my back was hurting and I'm just tired. I was supposed to be having surgery this week, so my week's been kind of chaotic. And I'm just ready to wrap it up. But who knows? I could do a pop-up stream another day too. Thank you so much, though, moderators. You're working way too hard. Lori, I'm sorry. And I don't know why we're having a problem. It's probably the same 2 or 3 people that are just wanting to cause a ruckus. Don't have anything to do. I wish them well. I hope that they can, find something more fulfilling in life than bugging us nerds. I mean, it's the same as jocks pushing people into lockers. Like, just why? But in any case, thank you so much for the hard work tonight, moderator. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you, lurkers. Thank you, super chatters. Thank you, watchers and replay crew. You're always in my heart. But no, I don't mind a little bit of teasing and a little bit of back and forth, but when people are here clearly just to anger or harm people's emotions and just like cause distraction that I can't read questions through, that's when it's like, okay, cut the cord. But I even give people second chances. Lori knows I'm probably one of the most liberal people. I don't care if people start talking smack about me or whatever, that's fine. I just don't like spam and stuff that hinders our ability to communicate. So for all the rest of you who've been awesome, thank you, and I'll talk to you guys later. Lucas Bretz is up next, which is the reverse of how things usually go. But yeah, go check out his stream, ADHD, I think. Did you just put oh, you're not a mod. I'm sorry, right now you're not a mod. Glass City Fishwitch, hello. But yeah, go check his streams out if you'd like. And if you missed this stream, feel free to go back to the beginning. It's going to be there. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night. And I'll have another stream on Tuesday, not next Friday. Thursday is supposed to be surgery, and they'll be out of commission for a little bit. Last words?
Peace. What's the capital of Vermont?
U.S. currency. Maple syrup. That's what their capital is. Montpelier.
That's my trivia for
Trivia
today.
with Laura.
Riveting.
Thanks, wife. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. I'm going to enjoy my wife, the ungrateful person, even though my fish give me more gratuity. Bye, guys.